Now, may I take the opportunity to invite Mr. Vikrant Mathur, the Executive Director of NielsenIQ BookData, and we are going to do a short presentation on the upcoming edition of the India Book Market Report 2026. So, giving the background, Federation of Indian Publishers and Nielsen Book Data, they collaborated way back in 2022 to do a report on the India print book market. And it was one of its unique kind of report where we even measured the economic impact of the publishing industry. It was considered one of the most respected report in the industry, where not only the market size of the Indian industry in the various verticals, right from the higher education to school education to the trade book market, but the entire landscape of the education sector, what were the opportunities and challenges before us, and the complete economic contribution, both on different models, inward and outward, how much it contributes to the GDP of the country, what kind of employment directly or indirectly it brings, what are the linkages industry it used to bring. So IPMR 2022 was limited only to the print book market. Whereas the world in today's time, where we talk about the impact of AI right from the publishing, its challenges, its opportunities, the digital trends, the audiobook market, we at Federation felt again and realized that it's the right time again to invest into it and come out with a comprehensive report which not only talks about the print book market, but covers the entire digital landscape of the publishing industry here in India, including the digital books right up to the audiobooks. And while we will do that, we are also going to talk about its economic impact. It is one of its unique combination that no international jurisdiction as on date has done any sort of report which combines print, digital, audio, and measuring its economic impact on the economy. So it's one of its unique proposition, what Federation and Nielsen is going to bring together. The importance and relevance for the report. When we at the Federation or at the industry level, when we do talk about public policy, various legal matters, various different issues, we felt at the Federation that there was always the dearth of data, because any policy paper backed by data is always meaningful, very effective, and that catches the eyes of the policymakers. This report has been quoted in numerous reports issued by the government. In various speeches of various senior government officials, we have seen that the figures from the India Book Market Report 2022 were always quoted and reported. With this objective and with this intent, we bring out, because there's a lot of public policy work, what we do at the Federation. Just to give you an example, before the Delhi High Court, we were the interveners in the original suit of ANI Media versus OpenAI, which talks about the publishing. We went before the Competition Commission of India in a case against the logistics companies who did an unfair trade pricing, abuse of dominance, cartelization. There we use this data. What industry brings value to the table? Today, the DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industries, when they talk about a white paper on generative AI and its impact, Federation takes the lead and they present their paper, which is completely backed by the data. So data with accurate statistics means a lot, and it is one of the most, I personally believe, that's one of the going to be a very professional report, of one of the benchmarks which we are going to create in the upcoming months with the support of all of you. And I'll request Vikrant to take you through the what we intend to do in the 2026 report, which we forecast until 2030. Over to you, Vikrant.
Thank you, Pranav. I think, as Pranav said it, that this report is important, but before I start and make more information and reveal more information about this report that's going to be, I just sincerely want to thank Federation of Indian Publishers who trusted NielsenIQ BookData of doing the third edition. I think this is the second time we are associated and doing the second edition or third edition of the report. As Pranav said it, that 2022, we focused largely on the print side, but now we want to also focus on digital, which includes audio as well as digital. And I think many would have a lot of questions around what digital means, and there's a lot of definitions around digital. which we're going to do and cover up entire landscape of the Indian industry. I think if I go to the next slide, please. I think what we're going to cover is definitely want to cover the Indian publishing landscape. We want to talk about what the landscape looks like, how many publishers are there, because probably we would know, but internationally when people read the report, would not know and would like to know what is the landscape of this industry. So we want to cover that and understand the emerging trends and the kind of data statistics available in there. Outside that, we also want to understand, because educational sector is very high and very large in this market. So we want to cover the influence of the education sector in the publishing industry, the number of schools or the number of colleges are growing in this market, kind of investments and the kind of policies making are doing in the education sector. Apart from that, the test prep market is also very growing in the market, and we want to cover that to understand who are the major players, what are the trends, and which direction we are moving in this sector. Outside that, I think we have spoken about AI in the previous sessions. So we want to understand what is the AI impact in publishing. If we will deep dive into AI and see what is the positive and the neutral and whatever the effects publishing industry is going through. And also we want to cover up about the futuristic approach of AI in this market. Probably we'll try to compare with some of the industries and also the international sectors or the industrial markets to cover the entire AI impact landscape. We also, as Pranav said, that we also want to cover the economic metrics, because we want to connect the dots of what is publishing industry is contributing into the overall Indian economy. You understand that publishing industry is not a standalone industry. There are a lot of ancillary industry connected with the publishing industry, such as paper, printer, and ink, and many more logistic companies, etc. So we want to understand what is the impact of that. So we will cover the gross GDP, and we also want to do the percentage contribution of this industry to the GDP. India's output, definitely employment, because what is the employment this industry has, and also the multiplier effects of that, because when you invest more on this industry, what kind of additional revenue the ancillary industry makes, something similar in the employment terms as well. So we want to understand if there's certain investment being made on the publishing industry, what is the implication of the indirect or direct implication on the ancillary industry. We're going to also do a market sizing. As you must have seen in the previous reports, we have done the market sizing on school, higher education, and the trade book side. This time, as Pranav said it, we're going to add digital and audio part of it, so you get a complete landscape of not only just limited to prints, but also on the digital side. So you understand what the digital market is. We talk about so much of digital, so we want to understand and size that market with a proper definition, obviously, that what the digital means is. So we're going to cover the school market, broken down into the primary, upper primary, secondary, and higher secondary. And then the higher education is broken down by general and the professional education. Fiction is going to be broken down by adult fiction, non-fiction, and children. Apart from that, we'll also try to cover the key Indian languages and size those languages market as well. We're also going to do policy impact, because there's a lot of policies which includes taxation, copyrights, as previously session been talked about. We also going to talk about the AI. So policymaker, as you must have seen in the newspapers, the AI policy, AI laws need to be built up. So all of those going to be included in the policy impact. Apart from that, the key challenges, because every industry has their own challenges. So we're going to talk about raw materials, supply chain, or the paper or the printer, any challenges that industry is facing. Apart from that, we're also trying to cover the opportunities, the emerging opportunities like AI and etc. We're going to talk about that as well in the report. I think I want to also introduce the team out here. So this is the large team who's going to work on this project. And this project is large, so it's going to run for 6-7 months. And we're going to reach out, most of you, for different interviews, so understand the nuances of the industry. So this is a project team who's going to work. So we have hired 2 consultants. One is from for the analytical reasons. So we have Professor Ramdara, who's going to support us in the analysis side, data understanding, etc. And we also have a Mr. Dipto, who's going to help us in the economic side, because there's a lot of economic metrics, as we have spoken in the previous slide. He's going to help us in understanding economics and the metrics around that. So GDP contribution, etc. He's going to help us in doing that as well. So there's a large team that is going to work in the project which is going to span about 7 to 9 months. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Vikrant.